So this is the home screen on my Amara machine. You'll get the same basic screen on the Amaras, the Fortes and the Infinities. The Sweet 16s and the Capris that have this low bobbin indicator, they look slightly different, but once you've got the idea, you'll be able to go and find the same icons and use it in the same way. So on the home screen here, this button is the low bobbin indicator. At the moment you can see it is 0.0. It isn't active, so it's not going to work at the moment. To be able to get the low bobbin indicator to work, I'm going to go to my settings button up here, so the little cog one. And first of all, I'm going to go to the alarms. It doesn't help if I set the low bobbin indicator if it's not going to give me an alarm when it reaches a certain point. So here's your bobbin indicator. You want to make sure that that bell is green, which means that it is active. So you can see on my alarms here, my thread break detector is currently off, but the overspeed alarm is also on, as well as the bobbin indicator. Alright, from this settings screen, I can also look here and see that there is an icon that looks like a bobbin. So that is where I access the various settings. I have then a window up here that will have a number of different options. If I choose the 40 weight thread, it will give me an amount. It doesn't work. So this is the settings screen under the low bobbin estimator, and on your drop down here you have presets that are already put in for you. So for instance, at the moment I'm on the 40 weight. It says that there are 210 yards of thread. If I go to the 50, it says 230. So a 50 weight is a thinner thread. It will get more thread on the bobbin than normal. So I normally use glide, so that would be a 40 weight thread. I would choose that one. And then when I go to my home screen again, I can press on the new bobbin here and it will give me that 210 yards of thread. As I start to quilt, that number will decrease and it will give me an alarm when it gets close to the end, so that I know then it's time to start thinking and finding a good place to stop and be able to put the next bobbin in. When you do put your next bobbin in, you just need to click on that button again to set for the next bobbin that you've got a full bobbin and it's going to operate for you again. Next month I'll show you how you can record your own lengths of thread on a bobbin. So if you wind your own bobbins or you use a pre-wound, then you can actually save it. You can get the machine to record how many yards of thread it's on there. You can save it with your own name, and then you can have your preferred bobbin thread saved instantly on here for you to use each time. That's a little bit of a longer process, so we'll do that as a tutorial for the next vlog. In the meantime, just remember, stop with your needle down, go to your settings and make sure that your alarm is on. So you can actually do that here through the alarm buttons, but if you're in the low bobbin indicator, you've got a bell here too. So if you click that one, that will activate it. And make sure you start with a new bobbin every time you put one in. Last month I showed you how to use your low bobbin indicator with the preset quantities that are on there. So if you remember, if you go to your settings button, so the cog, you then get various options along the bottom and your bobbin is here. So mine is green, that means it's selected. I'm on that screen already. And if I tap on that one there, I get the different weights of bobbins that are preloaded. So I've got a 40 weight, a 50 weight and a 60 weight. A 40 and a 50 are your general weights that you use for quilting. Personally, I tend to use the Glide 40, so obviously that's a 40 weight. If I'm using the same in the bobbin, then I can just click on the 40 like it is at the moment, and it tells me that I should get about 120 yards of thread on that bobbin. So if I then click on the bell next door to it, there, so that becomes green, that means it's now active. and will count my bobbin length for me and give me an alarm when I'm getting close to the end of it. All right. If I'm using a different thread, say for instance I've got a 50 weight thread, then the 50 weight is loaded with 130 yards. If I want to add my own bobbin, so say for instance I like to use the Magna Glides, I want to add my own bobbin and I want to record how much thread is on that bobbin. I'm going to click on the plus bobbin here. There, and it gives me the option to then add in a name. So click on that box again and it brings up your keypad for you, and I'm going to put in here Magna Glide. See if I can spell it correctly. Done. Okay, so I go back to my menu here and I choose Magna Glide, and then I'm going to press that red record button, put in my new bobbin and start to quilt. It will continue to count. So this is number here, where at the moment it's at 0, that number will go up and up and up until the bobbin runs out. And then you can unselect the record, and it will put the figure that you have of how much thread under Magna Glide. So once I've finished recording and it shows me, say for instance, I have 230 yards of thread. That's for a full bobbin. What I'm actually going to do is just back this off a little bit, say 4 or 5 yards. So let's go down to 225. That then just allows for the extra fabric the extra thread that I'm going to use up in stops and starts. And it gives me that little bit of warning before the bobbin actually runs out. I don't want to be stitching along and poof, there goes my bobbin, and the bell rings afterwards. So I want a bit of pre-warning. So now, if I go back to a 40 weight, you can see I have my 120. If I go to the Magna Glide, I've got the 225. So whichever one you have selected here is what is going to show on your home screen. So if we go back to home screen here, you can see there my new bobbin is set for 225 yards. Now as I start to quilt, this number is going to come down. It's going to reduce as that bobbin gets used up. And when it gets to 0, it's going to give me the alarm sound to warn me that it's about to run out. With some of the older machines, with the Avantes and the Fusions, you do have the same ability to record your bobbin length. The screens just look a little bit different. So have a look through them. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. If you get stuck, then you know exactly how to get hold of me. I will happily help you through.